You are Locked On Giants Postcast, part of Locked On Sports San Francisco on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yo, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Locked On Giants Postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. You may know me as the former producer for the Murph and Mac Morning Show on KMBR 680. And tonight, the Giants couldn't complete the comeback as they fall 8-6 at Oracle Park to the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, possibly the worst named team in all of sports. Heliot Ramos did his best to keep the Giants in this one with a late 3-run blast after the wheels completely fell off for Spencer Howard, but the deficit was just too great for the Giants to overcome. Man, losses like this to the Angels always bring back the worst memories of rally monkeys and thundersticks. Man, I hate it here. We will break it all down, but first, I want to thank all of you for watching us on the Locked On Sports San Francisco YouTube channel. Please hit that subscribe button if you aren't already subscribed. Thanks also for listening on the Locked On Giants podcast feed. However you're getting the show, we appreciate you tuning in. And make sure to check out the Locked On Giants Daily Show for more in-depth coverage. Ben Kaspick does a great job. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. The Angels took a big early lead in this one, and the Giants just couldn't climb out of the hole. That's pretty much how this went. Spencer Howard, who's been really good for the Giants so far this year, he's pitched a lot out of necessity, not because he's one of the Giants' better prospects. Those guys are all still down in AAA for the most part. Plus Kyle Harrison is been up with the big league squad since the start of this season. But with all the injuries with Blake Snell, Alex Cobb, Tristan Beck, Keaton Wynn for a large part of this season, all on the shelf, Spencer Howard has had to come in and do a lot of work, and he's held his own pretty well recently against the Phillies. He pitched pretty well. He's gone like at least 4 innings, 4 1/3, 4 2/3 in a lot of these starts, and he's been pretty solid. But today, man, it all came crashing back down to earth. In the top of the second, he did a good job pitching around some traffic on the bases. He gave up a run, but did do a good job of limiting that damage. Gave up 2 singles, a double, and a walk in that top of the second inning, and it looked like he kind of settled in. I thought he was gonna settle down after that and do his normal thing, get somewhere into the middle of the 5th inning before he got yanked and probably limit the Angels to 1 or 2 runs. But no, that's not in fact what happened. He continued to give up more runs after the Giants thought they had something cooking in the bottom of the second. A Soler walk, and Nick Ahmed single in his first at-bat back. But the Giants were not able to capitalize on the runner in scoring position, a very common theme for this team for this whole damn season, as an Austin Slater force-out ended that threat. But the 3rd inning, more bad news for Spencer Howard. A Ward single, and then forever Giant Kevin Pillar doubles down the right field line. The throw to second is offline and kicks away from Ahmed. Nick Ahmed tried to swipe at the ball and make the tag all at the same time instead of just getting in front of the ball and blocking it and not allowing the ball to get by him. The throwing error was charged to Slater, but I would like to see Nick Ahmed make sure that ball doesn't kick away and allow a run to score on that play. 2-0 Angels lead. And then another Moniak double. He had a couple doubles in this one. Plates 2 more runs for the Angels. 4-0 lead for the Angels. They had 3 more runs in that inning. Howard then gave up a single and a walk after he gave up that double, pulled from the game for Randy Rodriguez with the bases loaded and 1 out. That was the worst outing we had seen from Howard this season. Randy Rodriguez did get both outs without letting another run score in the inning, although Howard would have been on the hook for those additional runs. His final stat line tonight, 2 1/3 innings pitched, 59 pitches. He faced 18 batters, and he gave up a combined 11 base runners. That is not good. 7 hits, 4 walks in 2 1/3 innings pitched, 4 runs, 4 earned, 1 strikeout. His ERA ballooned from 2.03 to 4.02, almost doubled after this outing. Not a great night for the Cal Poly alum, although I'll still continue to ride with Spencer Howard and all of the Cal Poly alumni. Go Mustangs all day, every day. In the bottom of the third, Kevin Pillar walks and Ohapi doubles. Pillar running on the pitch scores from first. 5-0 Angels, and then a 2-run jack from Zach Neto, his 9th of the season, gives the Angels a 7-0 lead. They weren't done there in that third inning. Moniak tripled. He's just full of extra base hits tonight. And then a sac fly scored him 8-0 Angels lead. And that really felt completely insurmountable for a Giants team that has been so up and down offensively lately, just sputtering. So many of their key players cannot find any sort of consistency at the dish. It's been tough for the Giants, but they did make it a little bit more competitive after falling down 8-0. They struck back with 6 unanswered runs. Wilmer Flores picked up his 1,000th career hit in the top of the 4th. Soler ended up getting on base a bunch of times in this one, which was great after what we saw from him in the Giants' last outing on Wednesday. We'll get into that a little bit later on. But with 2 on and nobody out, they have Michael Conforto at the dish. Conforto walks to load the bases with nobody out, and then Thairo Estrada, man, this guy has been down bad lately. Grounds into a double play, but a run scores on the on the double play. Giants still trailed 8-1 at that point. Then Nick Ahmed strikes out, and I put a very important note at this point in my notes here. It says, quote, "This sucks." And yeah, man, losses to the Angels just make me feel that way. I really hate the Angels. I mean, I don't hate them nearly as much as the Dodgers, but I was in elementary school. I was in 3rd grade when the Giants lost that World Series in 2002 to the Angels. And there was this kid who I will never forget in my 3rd grade class who every single day we were sparring during that World Series, massive Angels fan. And man, I just have that guy's face just seared in my brain every time that they play the Angels. And I can still hear him just laughing at me and laughing at the Giants. And I don't even know how to get in touch with this guy anymore, but somehow, some way I want to, just so I can go yell and complain about this stupid Angels team. I hate the Angels, not as much as the Dodgers, but any team, I've said this before, any team from LA can get it. Even if you're from Anaheim, but want to say you're from LA and have the dumbest name in all of sports. Yeah, the Angels are just one of my least favorite teams to lose to, especially when they're terrible. And the Giants fall. They had a chance to get back to 500 again, man. 34-36 now on the season with the loss. The Angels with the win improved to 27-42. This is not a team the Giants should be losing to. I know it's a 162 game season and you can't win them all, but man, you want to win these types of games. In the bottom of the 8th, that's really when the Giants got things kind of rolling again for them on the offensive side of things. They collect a couple hits there. Thairo, a little slump buster RBI base hit that scores Soler, cut the lead to 8-2. Then a Nick Ahmed single and a Mike Yastrzemski double off the wall scores Thairo. 8-3 Angels lead. Giants have runners on 2nd and 3rd at this point with only 1 out, and in to the box steps Heliot Ramos, who hits a 3-run jack and makes it 8-6. 422 feet to dead straightaway center field, 108.5 miles an hour off the bat, a hanging slider out over the middle of the plate. He's so locked in right now. If you throw him that pitch, he is going to plant it into the bleachers. This guy is so good. He's like the only consistent offensive player that they have. You need to put more around him. He is single-handedly carrying the torch for the youth movement, it feels like at this point, as Luciano got sent back down to AAA. With Nick Ahmed coming off of the injury list, that is for sure something we need to talk about a little bit later on in the show. But there in the 8th inning, Matt Chapman, it grounds into a double play to end the threat and end the inning. And then in the bottom of the 9th, Wilmer Flores comes up just short of a home run on a pitch that was up around the letters, and he somehow got on top of it and gave that thing a ride to left field. If he had just gotten a little bit more of that one, could have changed the outcome of this game, could have given the Giants just enough life to finish this comeback. It would have made it a 1-run game if that one had gone over the Chevron cars there in left field, but it ends up just shy, stops at the warning track and right in front of that yellow Chevron car in left field. And then Estevez gets the final out for the Angels. And this guy, I know he made the All-Star team last year for the American League, but if your ERA is over 4, should you really be going full Super Saiyan and doing a little Kamehameha for your victory little celebration at the end? I know everyone's got a thing. I get it. Camilo Doval has a thing too. Every pitcher, every closer in baseball has a thing. Every closer in like college baseball and high school baseball at this point has a little thing that they do, a little celebration. But if you're going to whip out the Kamehameha, I feel like, at least for my generation, you got to be you better be somebody. You know what I mean? You can't just be some dude on the Angels with like 10 saves this season and an ERA of 4 and be mimicking Goku. Like, come on, get out of here. I don't want to see any of that crap. You're just not worthy of that celebration, Estevez, or anybody else on the Angels for that matter. The team is 27-42. I mean, how about you just go out there and win a game, man? The Giants, I would like to see them just go out there and win a game. This is so aggravating. This team finally, every time that they start to play decent or well, I mean, they won that series against the Astros. We were hoping they would build on it tonight, had an opportunity to get back to 500. And it's just the never-ending climb, man. We say it on every show. It feels like the never-ending climb for the Giants to get back to 500. They had an opportunity today against the pitiful Angels. Man, this team sucks. They're bad. This is a bad baseball team. There's no more Shohei Ohtani on it. There is not a lot of positives about this Angels team. Anderson has been pretty much their best pitcher this year, and he pitched pretty well today. He's got a 2.58 ERA on the season, but he walked 5 guys. Come on, man. Like, there was so many chances for the Giants to do some damage in this one, and they failed. They just came up short again. We'll get into that. I'll let you know how bad the Giants exactly were with runners in scoring position on the other side. And we got to break down some of the Soler stuff. This is good, some good signs there, but a lot of bad signs from pretty much everywhere else in this lineup. The Giants did collect 10 hits today and scored 6 runs, but it's starting to add up. The missed opportunities plus all of these injuries to the pitching staff, man, it's mounting and it's showing. We got to get into all of this on the other side. Stick with us on the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We will be right back. Here on the Locked On Giants postcast, we pride ourselves on getting you the latest news for your team, whether it's the offseason, the draft, spring training, playoffs, post games. It's year round. You know what else is year round though? Collection season. Because just since tax season is over doesn't mean the IRS will stop coming after you for unfiled taxes. The IRS can garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, and even seize your property. Don't let the IRS target you. Let the licensed professionals and tax experts at Tax Network USA go to bat for you. With over 14 years of experience and an A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau, Tax Network USA has saved their clients over $1 billion in tax debt. That's billion with a B. Whether you owe taxes, have complicated matters that require tax planning, or finally hit that parlay this season, I hope that's the case for you, man, and need help correctly filing, call 1-800-549-1000 or visit tnusa.com/locked-on. That's tnusa.com/locked-on. See the link in this episode description below for more details. Welcome back to the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. Today, the Giants fall at Oracle Park 8-6 to the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. God, I hate saying that name. With the loss, the Giants are now 34-36 on the season. The Angels 27-42. This is absolutely a game that you want the Giants to win. I mean, they're coming off a series win against the Astros, and this is how you're going to close out this homestand is with this series against the Angels. And would have been nice for a sweep, would have been really nice for a sweep. But now Giants are in a position where they really got to go out and win these last 2 games of this homestand if they want it to be a positive one, man. If they split these last 2 games, they end up 500 on the homestand, and you just can't be going 500 on homestands against losing teams. This is the Giants, if they're expecting to make a playoff run, this is not something that they can continue to do. And it's coming from all directions, man. This offense has been really inconsistent. Yeah, they did score 6 runs tonight and had 10 hits. So maybe we'll give them a little bit of a break. And I won't nitpick this offense as much tonight. But what's really frustrating is this pitching staff, because it's supposed to be one of the best ones in baseball, specifically the starters. Coming into the season, we thought that we were going to have like 7-8 different viable starting pitchers. And right now you got 3. Right now, you got 3. You got Logan Webb, you got Jordan Hicks, and you got Kyle Harrison. Keaton Wynn's healthy-ish, maybe healthy enough to pitch a game. Is he healthy enough to win a game, though? I am not so sure, because this guy has not looked right since he got hurt earlier this season, since he was pitching sick and all that. He has just looked miserable out there on the mound. And honestly, Mason Black has been lackluster, shall we say. But honestly, man, at this point, the Giants need a shot in the arm. I think it is time that you bring up Carson Whisenhunt. And yes, I know that, I am the same guy who sits there and says you don't want to rush prospects to the big leagues and mess up their form, their mind. You don't want to go Tyler Beatty on him and force a guy into a situation he's not ready for yet. But they desperately need pitching so bad right now. And it's better than what you got, with the case of Marco Luciano. If you're drawing comparisons to things I've said before about Luciano and how I don't think he's ready and I don't want the Giants to rush him, that's also because you got other options at shortstop. Nick Ahmed is a Gold Glove shortstop. Yes, I know he is not as good of a hitter as Marco Luciano, but defense matters, especially at shortstop. It's the position that it matters the most. That center field and catcher got to have defense at those three positions in Major League Baseball. You don't really have a good backup plan for the starting pitching staff right now for all of these injuries. Maybe you had a contingency plan for if one or two of these guys got hurt, but Alex Cobb out into mid-June. I don't think we anticipated that. Tristan Beck, he's kind of on the same timeline. We knew he was going to miss a lot of time. Blake Snell, that's a huge loss. He has not really been healthy or given the Giants anything positive all season long. So you are really, and Robbie Ray, he's still on the same timeline as he was at the beginning of the season, coming back from Tommy John. But point being, you got damn near a whole pitching staff down there on the injured list. And a lot of these stopgaps are not working out. You're making this bullpen throw so many bullpen games. And my God, that is going to be the death of this Giants team and the death of the fan base. I don't know how many more bullpen games this fan base can take, man. I know I don't know how many more I can take every time I see I know Spencer Howard got the quote start, but it feels like a bullpen game still. It's a guy you can't turn a guy from a long relief pitcher and just all of a sudden throw him into the starter role, calling him a bullpen game like spot starter for one of those, and then the next one do the exact same thing and then call him a starter. Like I feel like you're just trying to pull the wool over our eyes. This is a bullpen game. Today was a bullpen game. It was not a Spencer Howard start. It was a bullpen game. It was a guy on the mound that you knew wasn't going to go through the order more than twice. That's maximum the amount of length he was going to have. And it showed today, and I'm so tired of these bullpen games. Every time I see a reliever scheduled to start, it just makes me want to go outside and bash my head into the cement, man. I cannot stand watching these games anymore. And I know that the Giants, this bullpen is gassed. You look at how many innings they're having to pitch, and yeah, it's great to see guys like Sean Jelly lock it down there at the end. That was a great inning from Jelly in the ninth there. But you want to see something from this starting rotation, which is supposed to be one of the best in baseball. And it's hard to be a good starting staff when you're not healthy. The best ability in baseball is availability, and the Giants don't have very many available guys. The best way to fix that problem, bring some of them up that are available. Carson Whisenhunt last night tossed 5 2/3 in AAA, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 5 Ks. He looked pretty damn good. So, he's already been up in the big leagues. He came up at the end of last season. This is not going to be his first, experience with facing this level of competition. I think you need the help. Get this guy up here and see what he's got. Let the kids play. Let the youth movement continue to roll. We've seen what has happened with Ramos and honestly what's happened with Matos too. Matos was great before the Giants just decided to send him down, which is still really weird after Bob Melvin backed him and said, he's our center fielder with the injuries we have. He is who we are going with at center field going forward for the time being. And then just for the front office to send him down, it just seems like these two entities are not on the same page, the coaching staff and the front office. And maybe that's good, with what it's been like the last few years with virtually no disagreement between the coaching staff and the front office. The Gabe Kapler years just felt like Farhan Zaidi was managing this team on a daily basis, honestly. And it does not feel that way anymore. Bob Melvin seems to for sure have some more autonomy over what he's doing with this club than Gabe Kapler did. But it is still so frustrating to see the the Galaxy Brain group deciding what to do with these ball players. I want Bob Melvin to be making these baseball decisions and let the nerds make the numbers decisions. You know what I mean? I want to see Matos come back up with the big league club. I want to see this youth movement continue to go. I want to see Carson Wisenhunt come up and get a shot, at least until some of these some of these guys start coming back from injury. Alex Cobb, Robbie Ray, Tristan Beck, Blake Snell. If somebody can come back from injury soon, that would be, I mean, and actually be effective. That would be amazing for this Giants. Would give them such a big lift to this starting rotation. And they really need it. They are on life support right now, with Logan Webb being the only guy who seemingly can pitch past the fifth inning on this entire Giants team. I mean, we already saw what Mason Black offered earlier. I think it's time to see what Carson Wisenhunt can do. Let's bring him up, see what he's got. It can't be worse than only rolling with 3 reliable starting pitchers for the rest of the season. Bullpen games will kill this team. You can't keep riding them as hard as you have been. This bullpen's going to collapse and fall apart eventually, just based on the amount of innings that they're throwing. And you're just rolling the dice, hoping that they won't if you keep going the way that you're going. I mean, you really want Luke Jackson to see more innings? You really want that? I know I don't. We got to take a quick break here. On the other side, way more to break down from this game. And Luciano back down in AAA. Tons and tons of stuff to get into on the other side of the Locked On Giants postcast. Stick with us. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We'll be right back. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time makes getting NBA Finals tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off. So if you're trying to get there for Game 5 in Boston at the TD Garden, I mean, go for it, man. Get that, fire up that Game Time app, because with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA or MLB tickets. I love last-minute deals where you can save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, whatever you're into, they got it. Zone deals are pretty cool too. If you know you want to see the Giants and you want to sit in a specific part of the yard, maybe you want to, drink some beers out in the bleachers or get rowdy out there. You want to have a day with dad up at for Father's Day up in club level. You just pick your section and let Game Time choose the seats. You save even more money that way. And of course, you got to love the all-in pricing. Make sure to toggle this feature on to show the total upfront with no surprise fees at checkout. I hate surprise fees almost as much as I hate losses to the Angels. So that sounds pretty good to me. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Welcome back to the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. Tonight, the Giants fall 8-6 to the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Pick a city where you are from and stick with the one city. Los Angeles and Anaheim are not the same place. The Giants, the pitching, man, it's really been a problem lately. The bullpen innings, it's really starting to catch up to the Giants. This is something that's going to hurt them. But the one guy who has been consistent for them, man, Heliot freaking Ramos. This guy continues to just mash every time he's up at the plate. Seems like every time that he hits a ball, it is over 100 miles an hour. This guy's exit velocity is insane. I mean, in every mistake pitch, he is all over it. That hanging slider, 422 feet to dead center today, is a perfect example of that. I mean, he's single-handedly carrying the torch for the youth movement right now, as Marco Luciano goes down to AAA after being reinstated from the 10-day injured list. Casey Schmidt was also optioned to AAA Sacramento. Nick Ahmed made his return from the injured list and was reinstated. We talked about this. We talked about how, I told you guys on this show multiple times, I anticipated Brett Wisely being the guy to stay up over Marco Luciano. He's just had way too many errors out there in the field, but I know that a lot of the fan base wants to see Luciano stick up here with the big league squad. And I mean, now the vibes are so different, man. I mean, just a couple weeks ago, a month ago, we were all so excited about Matos winning NL Player of the Week and Ramos doing what he's doing, and Luciano came up, is hitting over 300. He just hitting ropes all over the place. And now there's only one of them left up here. Mason Black was up here with that mix of guys too. And now there's only one of those rookies left. They all kind of fell back down to earth. Matos, I think, deserved to be able to stay with the big league squad. It does not really surprise me that Luciano is being sent back down to AAA, though. He needs to play every day, and he needs to refine his fielding skills. He needs to probably just needs to straight up find a different position to play other than shortstop. This guy is not a big league shortstop. It's probably not going to be one going forward. I mean, Nick Ahmed right away in this one, he had one smoked to him at shortstop, and I could just hear all of Giants Twitter just losing their minds. Luciano, he looks the same as Nick Ahmed. He can't play defense either. That ball was like scorched at him, and I'm pretty sure that was ruled a hit, not an error. So, I mean, no, Luciano's not getting that ball either. But Nick Ahmed didn't have his best defensive game today. He with that play that he could have made at second base, not that it was an error on him, but this is what's better for the Giants. They need to be able to play solid defense. Nick Ahmed isn't, unplayable as an offensive player. He still will slap you a couple singles around. And he runs decently, but he's obviously not the kind of hitter that Luciano is. He is not the kind of hitter that Ramos is. You gotta have you gotta have the youth movement continue in some way. You got to continue to keep this train rolling, because that is what is the lifeblood of this Giants team right now. This team didn't start winning games until all the kids came up. This team didn't start having any kind of swag, any kind of draw to it. There was no life. There was no fun on this team in this dugout prior to all the kids coming up. And they really are what injected life into this team. And I think that counts for something. I think that counts for a lot. Yeah, there's no, ex-Woba stat or something similar on how many runs per game good vibes gives you, but it counts, man. Like baseball, more than any other sport, continuity and how your team meshes can propel you to heights that you didn't think were possible. Shout out the 2010 Giants, who nobody gave a snowball's chance in hell. I mean, Edgar Renteria, Cody Ross, those were your heroes from that team out as far as position players go outside of pitchers. But this is something that counts. Momentum and continuity, team continuity, things like that. You can't measure them. They matter more than anything that you can measure in baseball. And I think all these young guys provided the Giants that swagger, that immeasurable confidence boost that makes you play so much better. I mean, the Giants looked a lot better when they had all of these young kids up, even if the defense wasn't great. To clarify, I'm not saying that they need to bring Marco Luciano back up immediately. I do think they need to bring Matos back up pretty damn immediately, but I want to see Carson Whisenhunt, man. I really want to see this youth movement continue, and that is the next page of this chapter is Carson Whisenhunt. We need to come up. We need to see him and see what he's got. We need to see him in a starting role. If he's able to pitch into the sixth inning as he did in AAA last night with the big league club, that would be such a massive lift, because the Giants only have one guy that can do that right now, and his name is Logan Webb. You can't continue to put the entire pressure of the entire world on Logan Webb every single time he's out there. It's tough sledding for the Giants right now. If you cannot lose this damn series to the stupid Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, you cannot. The Giants need to come out here and win these next two games. The Angels are a bad team. You cannot have 500 or worse homestands against teams with losing records, especially teams that are 15 games under 500. No. The rally monkey cannot prevail. The thundersticks cannot prevail. The Giants need to exercise some of those 2002 demons that we all still have, and come back out tomorrow and Sunday and put these Angels away, man. I just absolutely do not want to see this team do anything. I hate the Angels so much. Not as much as the Dodgers, like I said, but there are very few teams in baseball that I hate to see the Giants lose to more than the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Stupid name, stupid team. Giants got to win these next two games. It's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. The one more quick note from today. I would just a random question. I was kind of thinking about this. How come every single time we have an Apple TV game, which I don't even want to get into that whole discussion. You guys already know I hate the Apple TV product. Just give me my game on the same platform that it is every other day of the week, every other day of the year. But why is the Apple TV broadcast so obsessed with the damn Seagulls, man? Seagulls have been here at Oracle Park. Yard's been open for 2 decades plus now, and we're still out here enamored by Seagulls, and also on national broadcasts still can't get the names of birds right. As pelican, seagull. Apparently, they're really hard to tell the difference between. But I'm just so it just baffles me every time why these broadcasts are so obsessed with these damn seagulls. It's the Bay. They're birds. They fly around. They come and eat garlic fries after everybody leaves when you leave them under your seat at the Yard, or maybe they're picking up some Tony's pizza that's it's been left out there. I wonder what their first option is, man. If you're a Oracle Park seagull flying around up top, what do you swoop down and grab first? You grabbing the leftover crab sandwich? I mean, if they find one, it's pretty sweet find, but I digress. The Giants fall 8-6 to the Angels at Oracle Park, and they cannot lose these next 2 games. Heliot Ramos continues to be a man amongst boys with this Giants lineup. I mean, without him, this game is not as close as it seemed. I mean, if Ramos doesn't hit that bomb, it's an 8-3 loss instead of an 8-6 loss, and we can ream the offense too if he doesn't hit that bomb. So today he saved them from a little bit of a I don't know, of me going in on them on the Locked On Giants postcast, which I'm sure is what every single player on the Giants is concerned about after a fall into the Angels. They got to get back out here and win 2 more games. You cannot finish this homestand at or below 500 and feel good about yourself going into Wrigley Field, and also going to Rickwood next week to play the against the Cardinals in a game that honors the Negro Leagues after their stats have been what's the right word for this? Not authorized, but officially recognized as they should be in their place in Major League Baseball stats and records and things like that. So it'll be a great game, great way to honor Willie Mays and the Negro Leagues out there at Rickwood Field, where Willie Mays and the Birmingham Black Barons once played. I'm very much so looking forward to that game next week. But first, finish off this homestand with 2 wins against the Angels. That's all the time we got for you guys today. This has been the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We will see you next time. That's tomorrow after Giants Angels. We'll see you then. Peace.